Hello, dear audience. This is Estamala, your firstly and successful global educator, SDG and technology enthusiast from Malaysia, who not only focus on her life but also desire to see others excel in their lives by offering quality education for all. Dear respected, precious audience, esteemed academician, and dedicated project team of Elegant Empire Education welcomes you to Real Talk with Experts Sustainable Development Goal Forum. I'm gladly greeting and welcoming you to another episode, our first episode for this year, 2025, for SDG Forum. By the way, Happy New Year, and we are privileged to have Professor Dr. Rania Lampu and Assistant Professor Dr. Anjum Qureshi here with us today. Our host and the project leader for this SDG forum is Assistant Professor Dr. Anjum Qureshi from India, from Gandhi Engineering College, India. As we delve into critical role of education in achieving Sustainable Development Goal 1, no poverty, we will explore transformative strategies that empowers communities through knowledge. Together, let us engage in insightful discussion that inspire actions and foster collaboration for a sustainable future with our honorable respected panelist, Dr. Rajiv Chowdhury from India. Welcome, Dr. Rajiv. Thank you for joining us in this
Thank you
vital
very much.
discussion. Dr. Anjum, the floor is yours. You can give a brief intro about Dr. Rajiv.
Yes, sir. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. So, I welcome you all for Real Talk with Experts being organized by Elegant Empire Education International. And this is the first talk show in this new year of 2025. So, wishing you all a very happy new year. And today we'll be discussing, we'll be actually continuing our journey of SDGs, that is Sustainable Development Goals. And our topic for today is the role of education in achieving SDG 01. If we talk about SDG 01, yes, we know that SDG 01 aims to end poverty. Before that, let me introduce to you our panelists, esteemed panelist for today, Dr. Rajiv Chaudhary sir from Pandit Ravi Shankar Shukla University, Raipur, India, a very esteemed academician from India, a person who is very famous for his engaging lectures across India, and especially for the sports field, how he guides and mentors the students, that is very remarkable. So I welcome you, sir, for this discussion. So before starting with our topic, we have SDG 01. So we know that it is a sustainable development goal. It is the United Nations goals to end poverty in all forms by 2030. So SDG 01, it aims to eradicate extreme poverty, which is defined as living on less than $2.15 per person per day. And it also aims to reduce poverty by at least half. And it focuses on the services people need, social policy, and the threats caused by climate change and conflict. So regarding this, to discuss about this, Dr. Rajiv, sir, I would like to ask the first question. Like when we talk about poverty and when we talk about SDG 01, so my first question to you is, why is it important to break the cycle of poverty? Like when we talk about poverty and when we talk about SDG 01.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Professor Dr. Rania, Team Advisor and Project Leader. Professor Dr. Istarmala, CEO and Project Director. Dr. Anjum Qureshi, Team Advisor and Project Leader, and dear audience. At the very outset, I would like to express my sincere thanks to you all for inviting me on this panel discussion. I am feeling great pleasure as I got this opportunity. Uh, we know that this panel discussion is being organized on the first Sustainable Development Goal, that is no poverty. There are 7 targets in this. Madam Anjum has said about the first target that I would like to, before answering the Madam Anjum's question, I would like to share my views regarding the first that first target is to eradicate extreme poverty, and the amount is fixed dollar 1.25 per day. I think, as per my opinion, as per my view, it's not. There should be some change. There should be some modification in this. Otherwise, it will not be possible to. We cannot say, yes, the individual is below the poverty line. Now, I will come to the question of Madam Anjum. Why it is important to break the cycle of poverty? There is a long list of the reasons. It is not possible to discuss about all reasons in the limited duration of time. I am going to discuss about few, those which are most important, that will clarify why it is important to break the cycle of poverty. The main important issue is affecting. This is affecting our access to health, and we know that if we try to understand the concept of health as per WHO, World Health Organization defined health in the year 1948. In the words of WHO, health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. At that time, in the year 1948, 3 dimensions are added: physical, mental, social. But later, WHO realized something is missing. 2 dimensions were added. 2 more dimensions were added, that is spiritual development and that emotional development. All these dimensions, which are essential for the optimal health, these are not possible in case of poverty. So we can say that due to malnutrition, there are other causes also. So if we want to attain the optimal level of health at global level, in that case, yes, it is important to break the cycle of poverty. And second issue is, second point I would like to share with you, affecting access to education. There are different types of courses, different types of different nature of courses: engineering, medical sciences, biomedical, management, including sports sciences also. We require money. There is a huge fees. Without paying that, we will not be able to, no one will be able to get a proper education. Since there are different courses, we have to pay. But we know that there is a cause and effect relationship also, and this also affect about our employment opportunities. If we will not be able to break the cycle of poverty, since there is a cause and effect relationship between the access to education and the employment opportunities. There is a significant relationship between these 2 areas. So it is very important to break the cycle of poverty. And if we succeed to break the cycle of poverty, there will be significant results also. Breaking this cycle lead to sustainable development. If any individual in this world want real sustainable development, it's very important to break the cycle of poverty. That will lead to the social stability also. Social stability is also required, and economic growth is also not possible without this. And the most important issue is the quality of life of the individual will be improved. We cannot think about the quality of life without breaking the cycle of poverty. So I have discussed about few points, the points which are very important, that justify, yes, it is important to break the cycle of poverty. Madam Anjum, please.
Yeah, thank you. So that was a wonderful answer. Yes, if we want to break the cycle of poverty, yes, we need to talk about social empowerment, economic empowerment, and of course, as you talked about education. So here, And even today, like our main topic is the role of education. So I would like to know from you, and this is my second question to you, like how would education help us in reducing poverty?
Uh, uh, before uh, uh, before answering this question, it is very important for us to know about the real concept of education. Uh, uh, Education has a broad meaning. Uh, it's related to the all-round development of the individual. It's related to the integrated development of body, mind, intellect, and soul. It is related to the wholesome development. So now I will come to your question: ki how this education is helpful in reducing poverty. By the help of education, we get skills. Now we are living in this modern and knowledge era, in the competitive era. So a skillful individuals are needed. They can place their space in the society. Without skillful, without becoming skillful, it will not be able to do that. And uh, uh, education provides us the knowledge, and both skill and knowledge both leads to enhancing the earning potential of the individual. If the and Earning potential is very important to live a better life. uh, so but these are the direct effects, but I will going to share the indirect effects also. Key indirect effects are discrimination. Education removes discrimination related to gender, discrimination related to caste, class. I live in India. I am Indian. So in India, there is a caste system, but there is a significant relationship of this also with that. Next one is that we will not, without education, no one will be able to know about the real concept of nutrition. Maybe possibility of malnutrition also. That will affect our health. And what will be the result of that? That will if we develop the real concept of malnutrition, nutrition, or if we educate ourselves, there will be the reduction in the medical expenses of the country, medical expenses of the society. And not only medical reduction to the medical expenses, that working efficiency will also be improved. uh, and more output will be there, that will lead to the more productivity of any country, and will be able to know about these rights. If we talk about, since I'm heading the Department of Law for the last 6 years, so I would like to add one more point that will bring awareness among the individuals. They will know about their rights. They may talk about the legal. They will get the legal knowledge also. So it is education play a vital role in reducing poverty, directly as well as indirectly. Madam Anjum, please.
Thank you, Dr. Rajiv, for the wonderful sharing. Dr.
Yeah.
Anju?
Yes, I am here. So yes, that was really a wonderful answer because education helps us in having skills. And with skills, we will be having opportunities for employment or going for or for entrepreneurship, and obviously we can have a good standard of living. The persons can earn more, and but this the persons can anyone who is now into poverty can come out of that. But one more thing, when we talk about education, so in that gaining education, having a degree or any kind of certificate or diploma, it is again not possible without paying some fees. So,
Yes.
in India, especially, if we see there are many children, those who are very talented, but they are not able to pursue their courses just because they don't have money. So, as we are talking, as you gave a very wonderful answer of how education will help to come out of poverty. So now I would like to know from you, what is the impact of poverty on the education sector?
Yes, it's vice versa also. Yes, you are right. Now, poverty also has an impact on a significant impact on our education system. A few points are this delimit the access to schools. we should keep in the entirety of our mind that several factors are associated with education, not only money, not only fees. Students has to pay for their uniform, they have to pay for the tuition also, extra classes also, for transportation also student has to pay, for to participate in the sports activities also, to participate in the co-curricular activities also. So that limit the access to the schools. The students will not, if their financial condition is not up to the mark, they will not be able to attend the schools in a proper way. Partially you have given the answer simultaneously with the question also. One more effect, that is a significant impact is increases the drop rates at school level also, at college level also, at higher education means university level also. Since higher education is very costly, students has to pay, especially in case of medical education, in case of biomedical education, in case of management studies. If any individual, any student want to pursue the studies with the top universities of the world, you may see the fees, you may see the fees structure they have to pay. So in between they live, the due to poverty the drop rate increases. But why, if I ask a question from you all, why we study, why we educate ourselves? For outcomes. Answer is for better outcome. In case of poverty, that affect our learning outcomes also. Suppose a student got admitted in the school, but the outcome will not be up to the mark if he or she is unable to pay for their different services related to the education. The nutrition will be poor. There will be health issues also. Students will not be able to pay for the health issues. Lack of learning material also. He or she will not be able to purchase learning material also. So the outcome will be affected. That is the main part of the education system. The outcome should be the proper. Now one more point I would like to add, that is reducing teachers quality also. In the poor condition, they will be poorly trained teachers. We will not be able to provide good teachers, efficient teachers, qualified teachers to the students. So both education affect poverty, as well as the vice versa also. The poverty also affect education system. Not only education, whole system is affected by this poverty. Madam, please.
As you said, yes, it is not just about education, but the whole system is affected by poverty. And as we were speaking, due to lack of money, the people, sometimes the students or the children, they're not able to complete education, and it results into dropout. But when we are talking about poverty, there is one more thing that we observe. Like, we generally talk about gender equality. So when we talk about poverty, even here we can see that there is gender equality, because more women are into poverty. More women below the poverty line, or they face more financial crisis. So my next question to you would be regarding this. Like, what are the reasons for this global inequality and poverty?
Uh, uh, there is a long list of the reasons of the inequality. Maybe of gender inequality, maybe they're related to the race, caste. One main reason is the conflicts. The conflicts are going on at global level. Conflicts means wars are going on. People migrate from one place to another place. You may see the condition of Ukraine also, Philippines also, at several places of Afghanistan also. The conflicts are going on. So, to the best of my knowledge and belief, the conflict or the wars or the migration is one of the major cause of this inequality. Inequality another reason may be climate change, including the social disasters also, environmental disasters also. Another reason is the main third point is the most important point, that is a social discrimination. There is a discrimination in the society, not only in India. Gender discrimination, you may see the example of Afghanistan. There is a gender discrimination. In Afghanistan, females are not allowed to study. Females are not allowed to do professional studies also. They have to live within the boundaries structured by their government, structured by their officials. So this is the discrimination of gender, discrimination of race also, discrimination of caste also. In India, there is a caste system that lead to discrimination, that leads to inequality also. Caste system, and lack of education, inequality, lack of education means it is scattered. There is no uniformity in the education, and there is no uniformity in the employment also. One more reason is the employment also. Due to employment, status of the employment, this grade, that grade, and there are some classifications. And to the great extent, economic policies and the government policies are also responsible for that. If the government or the officials are not able to formulate appropriate policies, that will lead to the inequality also. There is one more reason is, I found this reason also, most important reason is, there is a unequal distribution at global level. There is an unequal distribution of the resources also. In developed countries, it's different. In developing countries, it's different. In undeveloped countries, it is different due to the unequal distribution. So we should think about equal distribution at global level if we want to eradicate inequality as well as poverty. Madam, please.
Yes, so of course, as you stated, of so many reasons. Yes, due to this, there are inequalities, and this inequality, sometimes we just talk about gender gap, but there are many more inequalities that have been existing, and they are there. These are some of the reasons why still, when we are trying to come out of poverty and reduce poverty, the problems are still existing. So it was a very wonderful conversation with you, and to carry forward, I just request our founder, Dr. Esther Mala, to please carry on the conversation.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Anjum. Thank you for a wonderful question and discussion with Dr. Rajiv. I think our audience are also enjoying it, and we welcome our faithful audience, and specifically here commented by Ma'am Inga Tashvili from Georgia. Madam Sintamani, thank you for coming. And dear audience, if you wish to comment, you can comment. If you have any questions, you can also put forth in the comment box, so we can always ask our panelists and our honorable panelists, as well as our two project leaders, to assist to answer you. Okay, they are our experts. In fact, on this platform are all experts. Thank you. So, Dr. Rania, do you have any question to ask Dr. Rajiv?
Yes. First of all, greetings from Athens, here from Greece. Happy New Year to all. We're very happy, excited to return with renewed strength and dedication to providing quality education for all. Thank you, Dr. Raju and Dr. Estera. Especially, thank you so much, Dr. Rajiv, for this very interesting discussion. And I want to ask you that how do early childhood education programs can contribute to long-term poverty reduction? Because we know that early childhood education plays a crucial role in this, because early childhood is a critical period for brain development. So high quality early education programs can foster cognitive, emotional, social skills in children. They can set the foundation for lifelong learning. So how this is essential for children who attend to quality early education programs, how they can perform better. And my second question, how can international aid and partnerships support education as a means to reduce poverty, especially in developing countries? You are muted, Dr. Rajiv. You are muted.
If we talk about the child education, it is a base, and the base should be strong. If we want to build a strong building, the base should be strong. Same is applicable here. So, in today's this modern knowledge era, we should think about the wholesome development. Wholesome development means integrated. We should think about the integrated development of all. By all, I mean integrated development of body, mind, as well as intellect, as well as soul. Now, this modern and knowledge era is lacking in this spirituality. There should be spiritual development also. And the education, the contents of the syllabus should be structured in such a way that should include the contents which are related to the emotional development also. So we should think about the restructure of the education system at the school level. Regarding your second question, how the policy makers or the officials which are responsible, how they can play a vital role, I think it's your question. Everything depends on the policies made by the officials or the government. So in India, the national education policy is revised. I'm giving the example of India, and the contents are included. The system of education at school and higher education has been changed in India. So these types of changes should be there in the society if we want to make education system very fructiferous in nature. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. This is essential for early childhood programs. And at the same time, if we talk about higher education, what is happening in India? I mean, what role their higher education play creating pathways out of poverty? I mean, are there any enhanced employment opportunities for poor university students? Is there access to professional networks, or there is a higher income potential? What is happening there?
Yes. If we talk about the higher education, one point that should be clear, that we should not enroll ourselves. The students should not enroll themselves to attain the degrees or diplomas only. The professional education should be there. In India, stress has been given on the professional and skill development, the courses which are related to the skill development, to promote self-employment instead of the job opportunities. In India, this type of trend is going on. Thank you.
Self-employment, so entrepreneurship, how to foster entrepreneurship, actually.
Yes. Professional courses are included. Professional courses are these are encouraged. There are some courses which are introduced in India.
And recently I presented this national education policy in a conference, and I read about also the reform that this policy is doing in the field of inclusive education. So how does this inclusive education for children with disabilities, for example, or from indigenous communities, can actually support poverty alleviation? Because you have made a lot of reforms in inclusive education. Is this already, these reforms are already taking place in India?
In India, regarding the national education policy, earlier the education system was full of major part was of academic, but now the contents, such type of contents are included in the education system that lead to the wholesome development of the individual, not related to only academics. No, simultaneously with the academics, they have to learn, they have to participate in several types of activities. As a result of that, all-round development will take place: physical, mental, social, spiritual, and emotional. That is required. That is presents requirement of the society, not only in India but all around the world.
Definitely, yes, sir. And do you agree that vocational and technical education play a crucial role in reducing poverty? I think so far, vocational education, is not considered as prestigious as the formal academic education, but now it has been starting to be upgraded. The status is upgraded of technical and vocational education. So do you think that this vocational education can help, especially poor students, in breaking out of the cycle of poverty? What do you think?
Yes. This education, this type of education, this education system will help the poor students also. That will lead to the self-employment. I have said earlier also, they may start their own business also. They may use their learned skills in different areas also. Yes, it's
so in India, specific schools, technical vocational schools, they're separate from the mainstream?
To the best of my knowledge, there is no separate school. Education system, there is no separate schools for these.
Okay, because in Europe we have a totally separate school for which prepare specific jobs students in technical education. This is totally separate from our mainstream formal education. So these courses of technical vocational education are included where in the normal curriculum, the formal curriculum?
Yes, regarding your previous question, there are different types of statutory bodies in India. They control their education. And they have a control on the education system. For example, regarding the teacher education, that is governed by NCT, National Council of Teacher Education, is statutory body of Government of India. Regarding the technical education, regarding engineering, etc., that is a controlling body, or that is AICTE. Regarding the medical education, that is controlled by the MCI, Medical Council of India. So there are some few statutory bodies. These are under the control. So regarding the vocational education, there are separate engineering colleges also. They provide graduate degrees in different streams with the different specializations also.
Yeah.
Yes, that we understand.
Okay.
Understand.
So yeah, let's have a more casual chat about what's happening around the world. Okay, and now US is not really at the spotlight. India is on the spotlight now because it's fast growing, rapidly growing economy with most youth in the world. I mean, number of youth. Okay, if you compare to other countries, yeah, India and I think Nigeria, is it, Professor Rania? African countries. Okay, they have young
big
youth. So these
population.
are the countries everybody are focusing on for cheap labor, skilled labor as well, skilled and unskilled labor. So it's really inevitable in whichever country, if you see, okay, so in whichever country you go, there is poverty is everywhere. Even if you go to UK, you can see many people living by the street, homeless. Okay, even US, everywhere there are poor people. So I think generally every country, okay, they also have very rich, super rich people. Okay, now everybody's eyes is focusing on India, you know. Okay, so our recent grand wedding in India, that's really amazing. But of course it's really something good for India as well. It's not really bad, but again we can always request these people who are financially well off, not ordinary millionaire. These are all above billion, trillion, and all that. So they should also not focus on spending in enhancing just for economic. If our students, our children don't do well in school, in future, no matter how much we build up this economy system, it will collapse. Do you agree, Dr. Rajiv? What do you have to say?
Yes, you are right. Yes.
Yeah, so that's where we have to focus. Every country, okay, like example, if you spend this much for a function, if you think there's still expenses you can cut down and allocate that fund to poor families, schools, yeah, to build them up, good nutritious food in school for the students and all. So we can still help them out. So it's not that we cannot, of course, we cannot eradicate poverty completely, but we can seeing that there's people who are very financially well off. Okay, not one or two people there in every country. There's so many people all around the world. We can help especially these children in education, and by providing them a good food, good clothing, good environment in school. Because not only in India we can't help it because it's highly populated. Okay, it's not easy to manage a big family. Okay, big family, huge family. Even small countries are struggling. So I think it's time to focus on these facilities in schools. Yeah,
Dr.
the
Esther,
environment.
I want
Yeah,
to comment here. I think we need to be realistic because the underfunding of education system is a chronic challenge, particularly in low middle income countries. In Greece, every year there is a decrease in underfunding of educational system.
yes,
UNESCO says that there is an annual financing gap of around 100 billion that needs to be filled in order to achieve universal quality education. So governments need to increase the share of education funding because this way we can align with the international benchmarks, such as what
yes,
UNESCO says about the 20% of public expenditure on education, which is recommended by UNESCO. And
yeah,
there are so many innovative funding mechanisms now, financing mechanisms, blended finance, public-private partnerships. There are solutions that actually can help in this. But I think that this is a major challenge, and I don't think how this can happen. Of
you
course,
see,
the scholars.
actually, yeah, actually countries have, if you ask in Malaysia, you see our education policy is so fantastic, but are they implementing it? Are they really doing it? You see, every country have fantastic policies, the plans for the in education. They have allocated funds, they have beautiful plans, but how far they are implementing it,
There is
it's
targeted funding for marginalized groups, or what we call conditional cash transfers, which
that's why
incentivize families to keep children in school.
yeah, I think if in any country, okay, in any country, if, like as I mentioned in one of the award function recently, Dr. Rania, you were there, that politicians should keep their hands away from education, because they are the one who's siphoning out a lot of things, causing, politicians, uh, they are the one who ruin all the policies. Actually, we cannot implement if we don't have good politicians who really care for the people. Yeah, so we cannot eradicate poverty when we have politicians who have their personal agenda. They have party agendas, but they don't have people agenda. They have, but they are not implementing it. It is not a taboo to speak about that, but it happens everywhere, all over the world. Yeah, so that's why we cannot help the poor people.
Yes, and that's not don't talk about the teachers, educators.
Yeah,
But
educators also
low teacher salaries all around the world, and
yes,
poor working conditions lead to low motivation retention. How we can help marginalized groups?
yeah,
And
learning
already there is
materials.
a teacher shortage all around the world. It's about 17 million teachers that must be recruited until 2030 years, according to the World Bank.
Yeah,
So,
I think the shortage of teachers are not really because, we don't know really, but it could be because of the government expenditure for education to recruit more teachers. But I think it's more to the mindset of the people now. They don't want to work for lower salary or a
yes,
fixed
yes,
salary,
yes, yes.
or they don't want to work so hard, because being an educator, a teacher, even in preschool, is the toughest, if you ask me, So they don't want to spend their whole life, you know, and for a certain amount of salary, which salary increment also is not easy for teachers and lecturers in universities. Okay, so many of them, especially this new generation, Gen Z and all that, they prefer to be entrepreneurs, rather than to be school teachers. That is also one of the main reason why we have shortage of teachers. You see? Is there any others
Yes.
factors before we close?
No, you are right, madam. Madam Esther, you are right. That depends on the agenda, different agendas of the government, as well as one more reason is priorities. What are the priorities of the government?
Yeah,
Yes.
Exactly. And that's why I said a nice policy be drawn out. Like in Malaysia, we have fantastic education policy. Even our own educators here have mentioned this. They said we have fantastic policy written down to give wonderful education standard, to increase the standard of our education system, but it's not implemented fully. Even in Malaysia, if you ask me, most parents are sending their children to international schools, not to government schools. You see, so where did things go wrong? It back again to the people who rule the country, the politicians. They can do it. They can do it. But I think most of the country is not happening. So it is not a one country's problem. It's common problem all around the world. Yeah. So,
Yes.
Dr. Rajiv, you want to say anything?
No, you are right. You are right.
You
So,
don't have to agree with me. I might be wrong. Maybe I be seeing from a different angle. You might see from another angle. You can also share with us. That's why
yes,
we are.
you are right. Without the education of the poverty, no poor people will be able to study in the international schools. Since in your country, you said that you have said that most of the people they enroll their children in international schools, but for that huge fees is required. So this first target of the sustainable development goal, first goal about that we are discussing. It's very important. If
Yes.
we want the upliftment of the education system at global level, it is very important.
Yeah, most of Malaysian parents, even they don't have very high income, but
Yes.
they work very hard. They work very hard to pay for their children's education. They don't mind. They have to, because they find that they have no choice. You see, so there's a lot of things happening everywhere. So definitely the politicians. We must have good politicians if we want our country to do better. Otherwise, we cannot achieve anything, right? Because they are the one who control. They are the one who have implement policies, approve policies, yeah, and all that. So, and again, say like Minister of Education, we must have somebody who's really qualified, experience in education to hold the position, not like somebody who just won the seat by the votes during election, but don't have a good academic background. Okay, so
Now,
if we have that kind
for,
of leaders, also is going to win.
for that it is very essential that the genius people should opt their professional politics. It is very
Yes,
important.
yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Anjum. You want to say anything before Dr. Rania close the session?
No, not that.
That's
We can
all.
close the session now.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Rajiv, for being with us. Thank you for the amazing sharing and for spending your precious time after work. And also, I wish to thank our lovely hosts, Dr. Anjum and Dr. Rania, today. And I pass to Dr. Rania to do the closing.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Ajit Chaudhary from India, Prof. Dr. Anjum, Dr. Estera. It's my honor to give the closing remarks to the forum Real Talk with Experts. What a joy to organize this forum online and to be able to welcome experts and dignitaries in the field of education, which is a good sign to collaborate together to enhance the education system globally. I would strongly emphasize that the slogan "Quality Education for All" accomplishes the mission and vision of elegant and higher education. Thank you, Dr. Rajiv Chaudhary, for highlighting that education plays a pivotal role in achieving SDG 1 by breaking the cycle of poverty, empowering individuals and fostering economic development. Education contributes to the elimination of poverty by the empowerment through knowledge and skills. Education equips individuals with the knowledge and skills necessary to access better employment opportunities, as you said, that earn a sustainable income. Education fosters innovation and entrepreneurship, which can lead to the creation of new businesses and job opportunities. Access to quality education for all, especially marginalized groups, helps reduce inequality within and among countries. And of course, this leads to better health outcomes, which are critical in breaking the cycle of poverty. Quality education promotes sustainable development by teaching future generations about all this economic justice and responsible consumption, environmental stewardship, all these teachings that enable communities to create long-term strategies for reducing poverty. Education definitely is a powerful tool in the global fight against poverty. And this way, we can create a foundation for economic growth, social equity, and improved health outcomes, paving the way for a future where poverty is eradicated and every individual has the chance to thrive. So before putting the forum to close, let us give a big applause to Professor Dr. Anjum for co-hosting and moderating this forum. Thank you again, Dr. Rajiv, for your very informative talk, detailed insights that you offered to us. And heartfelt gratitude I would address to the brilliant audience, the teachers and parents and students who made it here with us today out of your busy schedules. We will meet again next week with another topic. And before I let you go, let us give a big thank you to Ambassador Professor Esther Mala, the visionary founder and the brain, the heart of Elegant Empire Education International. Thank you very much. See you soon.
Yes, again, the audience, everyone, please don't forget this coming Friday, Dr. Rania will be starting her first forum on Real Talk with Experts. So, of course, she has her own topic. Okay, and our Dr. Anjum is SDG specialist here. That's what this is a forum. Thank you so much, and good morning, good evening, good night. Thank you.